There were a lot of popular music leaders during the 19th century. However, Glenn Miller was one of the most famous big band leaders, and his sound was easy to recognize and definitely the most popular of all. Vote after vote continuously situated the Miller Band during the number one during the 1940s. By 1943, the band set appearance records just about everywhere it went. Furthermore, across the United States and Canada, the number of Glenn Miller fan clubs came well over 500. Not only were Miller's songs purely great tunes, but even more so, his popularity stemmed from his own perseverance and commitment to design the band and its sound. What made Glenn Miller's music so popular? That is what we will discuss in the next few minutes. Let's begin with a little background. Glenn Miller was born in Clarinda, Ohio on March 1st, 1904. After several moves, Glenn Miller and his family ended up in Fort Morgan, Colorado, where Miller went to high school. Miller's mother played the mandolin and organ, and as soon as their boys were old enough, she and her husband gave them musical instruments, a cornet for older brother Dean, and a mandolin for Glenn. Before long, Glenn had swapped his instrument for one of the brass variety and played it all the time. He played throughout high school and delayed going to college to play in a band created by Boyd Center, according to Joseph Gustav, author of 1994 American History. Again, in 1994 American History book, Gustav believed Miller received his first real break in 1924, when he began playing in and arranging for the Ben Pollack Band. Since Miller was not considered to be a good enough musician to make a career as a jazz player, he began focusing on musical arrangements. This was an area in which he had studied and had shown aptitude for. Under the schooling of Schillinger, Miller wrote Moonlight Serenade, which came to be known as his signature theme. The next few years found Miller spending his time writing music and performing as a freelance trombonist in several bands. Miller wrote music for himself, as well as others, such as Tommy Dorsey and Benny Goodman. Miller was given a golden opportunity by Ray Noble to form his own big band. Noble had come all the way from England with a desire to cash in his own records by connecting with American audiences. To do so, he hired Miller away from the Dorsey brothers to form a band, and he was able to do so by gathering some of the best musicians America had to offer from smaller assemblies. Miller developed arrangements of a lead clarinet over saxophones, and this type of sound eventually became Miller's own keynote sound for his own big band. The Noble Orchestra performed in the Rainbow Room of the RCA building in New York City, as Joseph Gustav relates in the 1994 book of American History. In 1937, Miller formed his own first band. This band really didn't set itself apart from most of the others at the time and soon broke up in 1938. All of this was a huge learning experience for Miller, and his second attempt would prove successful by the development of the clarinet lead sound he had created while with Noble. The clarinet lead sound style that Miller initiated became popular in big bands and was easily recognizable. It helped set his band apart from others. On this second attempt at having his own big band, Miller was not going to let anything fail him, and he worked tirelessly towards success. He expected no less from his band members. The precision he expected and worked towards produced discomfort to his band members, to be sure, but the endless practices and rehearsals paid off. Mixing swing with jazz and his own touch of flair, Miller produced a unique sound that was virtually impossible to duplicate, as was Gustav's opinion in the book 1994 of American History. Glenn specialized more in arranging music than actually playing a musical instrument, and he had a knack for what kind of music was popular with the people. The way he utilized the clarinet lead sound in his music was key to his success. I think it is absolutely amazing that Glenn created his own style and it really worked. Moreover, you can still hear his music played everywhere today. It would be interesting to know What else Glenn could have brought to the music world if he had not died at the age of 40?